Hey mamas, I am here to talk to you today a little bit about Overwhelm. If you haven't heard, I am changing the name of my podcast from Meliora Mentor, which Meliora means better in Latin, to Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood. And if you missed that episode, go back to the episode that's positivity in pregnancy, and listen to that episode. I give the details there of why I'm changing the name. But nonetheless, I have been swimming in a little bit of overwhelm with thinking about this, and I know as moms, it is so easy to feel overwhelmed. And especially if you are a pregnant mom, it is very easy to feel that overwhelm and just to kind of sit on the couch and stare into nothing or just stare at your phone. to just numb yourself to the overwhelm and how am I going to get everything done? Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Thanks for joining. Overwhelm. According to some online sites, overwhelm means to bury or drown beneath a huge mass. Another definition of overwhelm: to overcome completely as with great force or emotion. And I know as mothers, we can feel this heavy overwhelm that is like a weight. Maybe you get cloudy thinking. Maybe you get heavy in the chest or a pit in the stomach. Maybe you feel like you can't focus and you are scattered and you just can't get anything done even though your list is miles long. Because let's be real, sometimes as moms, our lists are miles long. We've got soccer to sign up for. We've got to send this with our child to school, this paper. We've got to sign it, but we also need to get a check with it, and we need to get the checkbook. Oh, and that reminds us that there's bills to be paid. And then when we remember there's bills to be paid, that reminds you that you had wanted to write a letter to your grandma because the bills have to be sent in the mail and somehow bills relate to mail. And you wanted to send that letter to your grandma, but you haven't got to it yet. And then you look in the sink and it is just chock full of dishes and you wonder how you are going to start dinner when your house and your kitchen is so messy. And then if you add pregnancy on top of that, you're probably just sitting on the couch wishing you could do something or anything to get rid of this feeling, this list that is endless. The children's clothes that need changed out, the children's closets and toys that really need desperately gone through, the yard that could use some help and maintenance, the dream garden that you desire to grow. Do you guys hear me? Does this sound at all like your life? Oh, I hope I'm not alone because sometimes it is just a lot. It is just so much to be a mom and to be a mom of multiples and to be a pregnant mom of multiples, what have you. It can be very difficult. I have 4 children of my own and the list just sometimes seems endless. And I just want to sit on my couch and not do anything. Kind of swim in that overwhelm, just not do anything because that seems a lot easier than trying to do it all. In fact, doing it all actually seems impossible. So instead of trying to do something that's going to be impossible, it's a lot easier to sit back and to not do anything at all. I have to admit, with the change of the podcast name, I have been feeling that overwhelm. I have been feeling like I have to change the name in so many places. I have to change the email address. I have to change the website. I have to change yada, 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 so on and so forth. Now, you might not be changing the name of your podcast, but think about your motherhood. Think about your overwhelm. Where are you feeling it? What is causing you to feel this overwhelm in your life that you can't even think straight? It's actually probably holding you back from getting anything done. I know that the overwhelm has held me back from doing anything because I just feel like there's so much to do and to get done. How in the heck do we deal with overwhelm? How do we get rid of it so that we can actually move forward in the things that we desire to move forward in? So as I give this episode, I'm going to mostly be speaking to the women who are not pregnant. If you are pregnant, there actually are some different ways to deal with overwhelm, and I will do a future podcast on that. But because this is our Friday episode where I focus on mindset and motherhood, we are going to talk about overwhelm as if you're not pregnant. But stay tuned for that episode. It will come out in the future as well. So how do you deal with overwhelm? So there's two ways that I'm going to give you today. I'm just so excited about it that I'm talking so fast. The first thing to do to deal with overwhelm is to write it all down. While you're sitting there on the couch thinking how you can't do anything, you just write everything down. All the things that are on your list. To do the dishes, to dust the piano, to get your children to practice, to make dinner, to clean up the paint mess that your kids got out early, or to get your kids to help clean up inside the house, to write your grandma her letter, to unload the dishwasher, to vacuum, to do a podcast episode, to reach your next goal. I got a little carried away in my list, but write it all down. Write everything down that is plaguing you and bothering you. Even if there are some emotional concerns that are really weighing heavy. Maybe it's your relationship with your husband or a relationship with a child. Write everything that is on your mind and in your heart down. Just get it all out. I find that just getting it all out is such a powerful step in relieving my overwhelm. Then I kind of have a list, a functional list, and that is the next part. From everything that you wrote down, what is the first thing that needs to be done? What is the most immediate thing that needs to be done? So maybe if changing the baby's diaper is on your mental list, or you even wrote it down, that is probably one of the most important things to do first. So change the baby's bum, and then look at your list. What is the next most important thing to get done? Well, if it's nearing dinner time, that might be the next best thing to do. And grandma's letter might have to wait until the evening or even until another day. But as you get it all out on paper, first of all, it slows your brain down so you can think better, you can think clearer. Second of all, it's not in your brain anymore because you got it all out on the paper and you know what you have to do. You no longer have to think about it all at once, but you can think about it as you go down your list and as you tackle the next item of most importance. Now, as moms, we can't just simply go through this list. There are interruptions, there are upset children, kids who get hurt, husbands that need us to run a random errand. As you know, it can still add. But as long as you are getting to the next most important thing, as long as you get it all out of your brain, you won't be swimming in overwhelm quite so heavily. It won't drown you. You'll be able to come back to the surface and get a breath of air once you get this out and once you're able to start tackling your next most important thing. So that is the first thing I encourage you to do, that I encourage me to do. These episodes are a lot for me as well when you are feeling overwhelmed. The second thing is to turn to a trusted friend. And I actually had a trusted friend reach out to me. She said she wanted to help me out with a coaching call because she knew that I was overwhelmed. She offered to do this for free. And you are not always going to have the opportunity to have a friend reach out for this. So you are going to have to reach out. So this one might be a little harder for some of us who don't want to reach out, who don't want others to know that we're kind of struggling with overwhelm and we need help. But if you have that trusted source or a good close friend that you can confide in, call them and say, I am just struggling and I need to get this out. Like, I need to talk through some of the things that have really been on my mind and in my heart and bothering me and causing me to feel overwhelmed, and talk through it with them. I was able to talk through some things with changing my podcast name with this friend that actually were so insightful. In my mind, it seemed so heavy and hard, but as I talked through it with her, it really wasn't heavy and hard. All I needed to do was keep recording my podcast episodes and maybe post it in the Facebook group. That was such a more easy spot for me to start than trying to get Pinterest going and email lists going and all the things that I feel this podcast needs to reach the women it needs to reach. Eventually I will get there because I have a passion for helping mothers to find the tools, the thought tools, and the mindset shifts that can help you in motherhood, because I know how much they've helped me. So while we're not getting to Pinterest and email lists yet, so maybe there are items on your list that you are not getting to yet, you are doing the next important thing. The most next important thing, as I try and spit out my words, that needs to be done. You can climb out of overwhelm. You can ask someone to help you work through overwhelm. And if you do a combination of both of these things, I know your mind and your thoughts will be a lot clearer. And you'll be able to move forward in whatever you are striving to do, whether that's in your motherhood, whether that's in a business, or whether that's dealing with a hard relationship. You can do this, Mama. I believe in you. So I think when I do my summing up of the episodes, I'm going to call it the Meliora moment. How can you find better? Meliora means better. So our Meliora moments are to write it all out, get it all out, and do the first important thing, the most important thing that needs to be done on that list. And the second thing is, if you have a close friend, give them a call, confide, and ask them to help you slow down your overwhelm. And if you combine these two together, it will be even better. You are amazing, Mama, and your children need you. I am cheering for you. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness, so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.